Two teams make it out of the OSBA West Division to square off in the men's championship game. The number 1 seed Ridley College Tigers, who finished with an 11-3 record, taking on a Hodan prep squad that finished only 1 seed below the Tigers, but only 1 game above 500. Welcome inside the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center for the OSBA men's final. I'm JJ Evanston, joined by Sydney Holmes and Aaron Sanders. Hodan had no easy task of getting to this game, having to go into William Academy and dismissing Ifyosa Oliogu, Tristan Darko, and Trust Odia. They followed that up with a well-executed full 40-minute game against a tough Royal Crown squad and came away with an 83-67 victory, but now have arguably the toughest task of all. It might make an easier task of it if you face it with a blood relative by your side. Tonight's OSBA men's final features 3 pairs of siblings, a first for the OSBA. Dante and Jaden Sensori Hercules take the court for Hodan, and its siblings Carter and Quinton Ethier and Caleb and CJ Roberts on the other side for Ridley. The last time brothers played in an OSBA championship game was in its inaugural 2015-2016 season when Mature Maker joined Thon Maker on the Athlete Institute Prep squad, currently Orangeville Prep. Ridley haven't really had much of a tough task in the West Division for the OSBA, but a finals game can go either way, winner take all. Aaron, what are your keys to the game?
Well, first off, family matters. How about this matchup? But I think Hodan Prep, they have to attack right away and execute properly and start swinging the ball around, because Ridley's going to come out and they're going to attack either way clinically. They're going to get 2 passes right down to the corner. They may get it down to the big man Callum Smith or get a sharpshooter like Caleb Roberts starting. So Ridley, they have to attack. Hodan, they have to play smart and play a good half-court game.
I said last game, Callum Smith needed to come out consistent, and he started off every single play by getting a bucket for Ridley. So I do believe that he has to do that again today in order for Ridley just to kind of start off on the right foot. In terms of Hodan, they were very consistent against Crestwood. I think they just kind of need to come out more heavy-handed in terms of the mid-range game. I know they were kind of pushed more so to the three-point line. I want to see them dive inside. I want to see them get physical, and they do have strong shooters on their team. I just need them to kind of activate it a bit earlier on than what we saw from them last game.
The starting 5 for Hodan Prep was Jaden Lee, Dante Sensori Hercules, Josiah Roberts, Saad Chowdhury, and Ian McBride. Right now introducing all the team to the crowd here on hand at the Toronto Pan Am Center. So we expect head coach Gus Gymnopoulos to put that same starting 5 out on the floor against Coach of the Year Vic Razzo, who plans on starting Demir Ostaprak, Griffin Collinson, 30 points in last night's semifinal, by the way, for Collinson. Quinton Ethier, Caleb Roberts, and Callum Smith. At one point in this game, there could be 3 Roberts on the court, 1 from Hodan and 2 from Ridley College. That'll make things a little bit interesting. All different players, of course. Josiah Roberts has a great middle game, great defensive game, but when you look at the athletic ability of both CJ and Caleb Roberts, you know, you can tell that they're siblings.
Talk about telepathy. They're able to read each other on the fly, and that could be a huge advantage for the Tigers tonight.
The best thing about them is that they both are consistently, you know, they're going to outwork every single person that's on the floor. If they make a mistake at one end, they're going to fix it and go back the other way. They never really allow themselves to kind of get too stuck in one mistake. They think of the overall picture. They think of the true aspect of the game, and they just go ahead and swing. And so they are not players that I would take for granted at any moment in this game.
If there's any one play that sums up the way Caleb Roberts plays the game of basketball, it was last night at the end of the game with the shot clock turned off. Having won the game already, Roberts drances down the court, pulls up from 3, and drains a 3. It was a statement bucket that says, I'm not letting up for any time left on the clock. I'm here for a championship. We're going to step aside for the national anthem and bring you action here from the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center right after this. Stay with us. It's the OSBA Men's Championship game. The stage is set, the lights are bright. 40 minutes of basketball to be played before we crown the OSBA men's champion. Hodan Prep taking on Ridley here at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center. We welcome you inside. The crowd is continuing to fill up as people pour into the gymnasium for what's bound to be a great game. And when you look at the starting five, what a great matchup. Of course, we can look to the bench as well with Noah Kaja coming off the bench for Hodan Prep. CJ Roberts, the #1 option for Victor Razzo's squad. There is no shortage of depth. There is no shortage of shooting. There is no shortage of talent on stage here tonight.
And Noah Kaja, he did a tremendous job yesterday against Royal Crown. So when you have all that depth, it's going to work in your favor. And another thing, guys, we're going to have a new OSBA champion. Hodan Prep, tough task beating Royal Crown last night, but here we are, two teams that could clinch their first OSBA crown.
That's right, no three-peats this year. Royal Crown losing in the semis. Crestwood falling to Capitol Courts just about an hour ago, taking home their first championship in 3 years since 2022. So it will be Jaden Lee, Dante Sensori Hercules, Josiah Roberts, Saad Chowdhury, and Ian McBride rounding out the starting five for Hodan Prep. For Ridley College, Demir Ostaprak, Griffin Collinson, Quinton Ethier, Caleb Roberts, and Callum Smith. There's a couple of matchups we're going to zone in on in the game, but let's start with the matchup in the front court, Ian McBride and Callum Smith.
I was just about to say, those are the two bigs that I've actually been excited to kind of go up against each other. Last game, Ian McBride didn't really, you'd think that he'd have a match against Istomin Monroe, but he was really pulling him and Caleb Zhu out of the key and being active from the three-point line. So I'm interested to see if Callum Smith can really keep up with McBride in that sense. But to be fair, down low, both of them are pretty equally matched.
We will get to the other matchups as we get this game underway. Tonight's officials, Chris Bucella, Dave Maxine, and Farhan Beg. We are underway. Hodan Prep with the first look at an offensive possession. Josiah Roberts on the wing, looking for the entry pass to Sensori Hercules. He's slid out by Ostaprak. Saad Chowdhury from deep. Off the iron, Caleb Roberts, first rebound of the game. A burst of speed, Roberts into the front court. Sees Smith. Smith gonna work on McBride. There's that matchup on the first possession for Ridley, but Smith comes up short.
So Ridley going down low to start the game, and Hodan Prep going around the perimeter.
The same setup for Hodan Prep on the second look. Roberts guarded by Roberts, and this time they find Sensori Hercules, far side. Lee, feet set in front of his own bench. That rims around and into the hands of Ethier. The older of the two Ethiers, Quinton Ethier, number 15 for Ridley College. Collinson working on Lee, into the paint, elevates. That rattles around and doesn't go. Callum Smith with the rebound had Demir Ostaprak behind him. But when you're working with your back to the basket, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head, stepping out of bounds. And that sideline's been trouble all day long. We've been making a joke of it, but honestly, it's become part of the story.
I think I can continue to say court awareness until I'm blue in the face, but at this point, I think I just have to assume that everybody at least 1 point in this game is going to step out of bounds at least 3 times.
3 straight offensive possessions are running through Roberts here on the near wing. Far side now, Lee. Caleb Roberts with the strip. Can't keep it in bounds. But a heads-up play defensively. And that's the kind of play that you expect from Roberts on that side of the ball.
Yeah, that's right. When you go off of that steal, you're trying to keep yourself in bounds. That could have led to a fast break opportunity, but unfortunately went to the sidelines, and it's Hodan Prep ball again.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Goose eggs on the scoreboard. Josiah Roberts looking for the roll. McBride gets Smith in the air, puts the rock to the deck, and Caleb Smith says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that." Ostaprak fakes the whip pass, pulls in, mid-range, no. Saad Chowdhury with the rebound. Coach Vic Razzo applauding the effort. Good looks, good looks, good looks. Just got to get him to fall. Josiah Roberts dials it from deep. That's no good. Second defensive rebound for Quinton Ethier. Into the paint. Josiah Roberts dismissed by Smith. Smith gets the offensive rebound, is blocked from behind, then they're going to count the basket. It's a goaltend from Saad Chowdhury.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Hodan Prep's not allowing any easy baskets down low. Have a look. First off, the Flamingo fadeaway doesn't go, but Callum Smith was there, and same with Saad Chowdhury. He just didn't let it go down the hatch, and just like that, Ridley up 2-0.
A very slow burn, though, to start for both teams. No one really able to kind of get anything going.
Sensori Hercules around the screen, and an out-of-bounds call going the other way.
Okay, so those two out-of-bounds calls, they cancel out. 7:40 to go. I hope Ridley is able to get an extra pass down to the middle and set up Callum Smith for a 2. These two teams have to get something going.
Griffin Collinson hands it off to Caleb Roberts, the leader of this Ridley squad, snubbed for the All-Canadian Games. Was awarded first-team All-Star here in the OSBA. Collinson downhill. McBride stuffs him. Jaden Lee over the timeline, picked up by Quinton Ethier. Ian McBride dials it from deep. That's just off the mark. He shot a total of 6 from deep last night. Scored 2 of them.
He's an in-and-out player, someone that could beat you on that release.
Josiah Roberts continued to get away with going under the screen. We see a slip. Ostaprak coughs it up. Sensori Hercules, one dribble into the body, gets the finish. Knotted at 2.
Not done on purpose, but there's a bit of a slick spot there on the floor. I don't think he really meant to give it up so easily there, Ostaprak.
Flare screen for Roberts. Calls his own number, tickles the twine, and it's a 3-point lead for the Tigers.
And he was definitely feeling it. He got that extra pass, and you mentioned at the top, JJ, he favors the side, and it worked in his favor.
Chowdhury gives it up to Sensori Hercules. Has the screen there, reverse screen, steps into it, gives it up to Lee. Working in the paint, Josiah Roberts. Took one from there earlier, that misses the mark as well. Caleb snatches the rebound and takes it methodically over the timeline. Callum Smith with the roll, kick back out. Collinson to Smith on the block. One-on-one with McBride. Big bodies banging the baby hook. Chowdhury just swallows that one up. It was on the way down.
Chowdhury very eager to start the game on the defensive end.
Back cut. McBride finishes the play. Good find, Sensori Hercules. Quinton Ethier in the pick and roll action. Smith fading away a little too strong. McBride pushes him towards the timeline. Uses his body to create separation. Now McBride and Smith were teammates on the 17U Team Ontario team that won gold together. They're used to going at each other in practice. Now it's a real game situation here in a championship game as they faced off a couple times in the regular season. Sensori Hercules off the glass with a pretty finish.
And Hodan Prep just being aware down low. They were able to get that high-low pass down there. We saw it from Ian McBride, and now we see it on the other side. They're up 6-5.
And Collinson is very good on defense too, but you can't allow an easy backdoor cut from Sensori Hercules.
Caleb Smith with the acrobatic attempt. Doesn't go. Quinton Ethier from 3. Front iron. Smith with the rebound. Second chance opportunity. 10 on the 24. Smith at McBride again. Lee does a good job leaving the two bigs to play the game. Ethier up and under. No. McBride absolutely attacked from behind from Smith. And that'll be team foul number 2.
There's a crying shame for Callum Smith. Even as a big man, you have to understand sometimes you're not going to get those calls into your favor, and when you put your body all up on somebody, whether if you're going in for a rebound or a tip in, the balance and the body is important. Sometimes you have to go straight up with it. I don't know if it was an aggression foul or not, Sid, but it's not one of those fouls you want to take on halfway into the first.
I honestly think it was a foul that he didn't realize how close he was to McBride, and then as soon as he turned around, he was just in foul territory.
Correction on the foul, Ridley's first team foul. Saad Chowdhury loses the handle. Jackson Baker fresh into the game. Working on Noah Kaja, who also checks in at the break. Out of bounds call. Ridley will retain possession. CJ Roberts in alongside Daniel Meisner for Ridley. They join Jackson Baker. And now we get another substitution. Dante Jones coming in for Gus Gymnopoulos' squad. He'll replace Saad Chowdhury.
Chowdhury has to slow it down a little bit. We saw on the offensive end he did a little too much, which causes the turnover.
Dante Jones in the game, picks up a foul on the reach-in. Quinton Ethier almost had a clear lane to the basket.
Anybody from Ridley could drive it to the 10. We saw that from CJ Roberts a handful of times this season. You have to watch out for the smalls.
Baker gives it right back to Ethier from the parking lot. No. Sensori Hercules head and shoulders above everybody else into the front court. Robert kicks it back out. Kaja, feet set. Back iron. Josiah Roberts knocks it into the hands of Meisner. He'll find Baker and slow it down. CJ Roberts into the open court. Kicks it. Ethier from the corner. Flush.
Extra passes will help you every time. Ridley up by 2.
Quinton Ethier led all scorers in their quarterfinal matchup against Bill Crothers on their home court. Over there at Ridley College in St. Catharines, Ontario. CJ Roberts swallows up the entry pass. Finds himself on the deck. Dante Jones not sure what to do with it. Gives it to the big man McBride. Now it's Josiah Roberts working baseline. Walled up by Quinton Ethier. Good defensive possession. In transition, Jackson Baker. It's a 2-on-2. Into the paint. Dismisses Kaja. The bounce doesn't go. Noah Kaja, fresh to Hodan Prep, played with Bill Crothers and Brampton City Prep previously. As another great defensive effort there by Quinton Ethier. Collinson accepts the pass, uses the glass, and sees it through on a nice feed from Baker.
Unselfish basketball from Baker from the whole 90 feet of the floor from that turnover. And that's what Ridley does best.
Ridley ahead by 4, and we said if Hodan could keep it to single digits by the halftime, they've got a shot, as Ridley is one of the best teams in the OSBA. Definitely play the best team game for my money.
84 points per game also helps too.
Sensori Hercules from the corner. That rims around and out. Kaja with the rebound as all Ridley players were leaking out, hoping somebody else would clean up the glass.
They were frozen like it was a cold winter night as nobody was there for the rebound.
Thank God those are gone. Daylight savings. The sun's still out behind us.
It's really nice to see, actually. I also think maybe it's adding to a bit of the excitement into the crowd today. I think everyone's a bit more chipper this morning.
We might have lost an hour, but this championship makes it all worth it.
Collinson loses the handle, gets it right back. Ian McBride swallows up the loose ball. Noah Kaja into the front court. Going to kick it far side. This is where Hodan Prep can turn it on. The 3 is good from Ian McBride. Even big men can shoot.
That's right. He's a good in and out player. He could go inside, but once he has that clear lane in the wings, he's going to take it. He's going to put it up, and we saw the result.
Back to the basket. Ethier waiting for the double to come. Kicks it out. Extra pass. CJ Roberts into the paint. Elevates. Takes the contact. Stuck on his back. Has to fight to get back in the play. Dante Jones ahead of everybody. Just lays it in nice and easy. And Hodan have the lead. Up 3. Baker bounce pass. Well read by Noah Kaja.
Both teams are really relying on fast break opportunities to happen right now, but also I think Ridley's doing a little bit better of a job of seeing the floor and circulating the ball to get that second chance opportunity. But on that same breath, though, Hodan is just having a lot faster of a burst of speed down the floor. They're able to get into position a lot faster.
Caleb Roberts back in on the floor now with his brother CJ Roberts. It's CJ to the rack. That one bounces off, guarded well by Lee. Foul's going to be on Hodan.
Chowdhury tried his best, but the problem was when he was trying to get positioning, he was just hooking a little bit too much on Roberts. And at that point, you can't do it when you're not even fighting for the ball. You got to go guard, box out, and then go for the ball.
Have you noticed in the first quarter, Chowdhury has been overcommitting defensively and offensively? He's got to tone it down a little bit.
Jackson Baker off the mark. It'll stay with Ridley ball as Carter Ethier subs out his older brother Quinton. 40 seconds left in the first quarter, 10 seconds on the shot clock. 3-point lead, Hodan Prep ahead. Carter Ethier left wide open, backdoor, good find on the baseline, out of bounds by Baker.
Baker coming up with a couple of assists now. That's just great ball vision.
Dante Jones picked up by Ethier, top side now. Josiah Roberts inside out dribble. Jones takes it. That one's short. CJ Roberts out and on the run. Keeps, dishes back to the older brother, Caleb, who makes them pay. Everybody's moving at 100 miles an hour downhill. Caleb Roberts recognizes that, slows up. Last possession, Josiah Roberts just off the mark from the logo. And after 10 minutes of play, Ridley back in front by 2. What a first quarter that was.
Very back and forth game, honestly. I think if I were to not have the score and I was just watching the field of play, I would have thought that Ridley had maybe a bit higher of a lead. But the thing is Hodan Prep has been able to execute on those tight turn opportunities, but Ridley is not a team to be taken for granted of down the stretch. The nice thing with Hodan is they are able to keep up with speed, they're able to bang bodies down low, and they're getting a lot of those fast break layup opportunities, but in the same breath, Ridley can keep up, and especially from beyond the arc.
Yeah, CJ Roberts just has this motor, doesn't he, right? Like the Energizer Bunny, you can't turn it off. Couple of runouts and easy leakouts for Hodan Prep, you know. Dante Jones gets the easy one there. Sensori Hercules had a highlight, but the third quarter comes to an end with a big 3 from Ridley College's leader, Caleb Roberts. And with that, now that we have a break in the action, the Ontario Basketball Association and Rogers and Uptown Wireless are bringing you unbeatable deals on wireless plans. As a valued OBA member, you now have access to exclusive savings on Rogers services, helping you stay connected whether you're at home, on the road, or courtside. Don't miss out. Visit basketball.on.ca today to explore your exclusive offers and experience the power of connection with Rogers. Stay connected, stay in the game, powered by OBA and Rogers.
Well, so far, what I saw was it was a high-low quarter. We're seeing Coach Giannopoulos leading his Hodan Prep team back into the ball game. They're shooting more shots outside than going in, and that's the difference between them and Ridley. I feel like most of their three-pointers have been rushed. They have to slow it down a little bit. We had a fast first quarter. You have to expect the tone to change in the second, and they have to have some presence down low on the defensive end. It's been a run-and-gun first quarter.
Ridley College set to inbound it here to start the second. The younger of the Ethier brothers, Carter Ethier, set to trigger. Caleb Roberts in the backcourt, picked up by Josiah Roberts. Baker accepts the handoff, gives it to CJ. Couple of screens. Caleb can't get open, can't shake Josiah Roberts. Wants Meisner to come up, moves to the middle of the court. Meisner, he can dial it from deep, he does. That's just off the mark, and above everybody for the rebound comes CJ Roberts. He gives it away. Chowdhury there with a hand in the passing lane.
I shouldn't be surprised if CJ Roberts could have the bunnies. My gracious, he can scoop up that rebound and make you pay on the drive dunks sometimes. Anytime
a shot goes up from Ridley, you know CJ Roberts is on his way to the basket. Sensori Hercules harassed on the way up. He's going to go to the free throw line for 2.
Sorry, Sid. CJ Roberts, a good catalyst for the second chance opportunities, but on the other end, Ridley crashing down a little bit too late.
Well, I was going to say, too, Caleb Roberts, he's very strong on defense. The problem was that there was a screen for Sensori Hercules, which allowed him to kind of cut cross key. In that instance, Caleb Roberts was behind him, so he was calling for the help side defense. It's just they were so focused on their own man that they didn't bother to look around, which is obviously why Sensori Hercules headed to the line for 2. So a bit of an unforced error. Hopefully they can kind of tweak that moving forward.
Sensori Hercules will head to play in the All-Canadian Games later this year. Committed to Portland University for next season. Was among the MVP candidates for this season in the OSBA. And now his team is stuck one in the championship game. Josiah Roberts with a rare strip from Caleb Roberts, who gets it right back but steps out of bounds before trying to keep it inbounds. And Hodan Prep really doing an impressive job on the defensive side as we get another look.
Josiah Roberts getting his hand in the cookie jar, not being caught. He almost had an easy 2, but you have to look out for Caleb Roberts and his defensive prowess.
Also, not an easy ask, especially for your coach to be like, hey, you're on Caleb Roberts. Like, that's your assignment for tonight. That, for most people, that would be daunting, but I will say the Roberts and Roberts matchup for Josiah, he's kind of coming in and he's dominating right now. He's playing hard defense.
Kaja with another offensive rebound and putback. That's 2 in the opening half for number 0, Hodan Prep. Coach Victor Razzo going with a little bit of a bigger lineup, leaving Meisner on the floor, bringing back in Quinton Ethier, Callum Smith, and Collinson, Griffin Collinson, number 11, who gets it right now. Shot is up, back iron. Josiah Roberts, outstretched arm, gets that rebound. Saad Chowdhury working on Smith. Doesn't get the step. Lee kicks it back outside. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now Chowdhury gets the step to the rack. No. It's an odd man rush. 2-on-1. Collinson to the corner. Ethier lets one defender blow by, moves into the paint. May have squandered a good look from deep, but Collinson's going to get it. And that's off of Dante Sensori Hercules and out of bounds.
And JJ, that's one of Ridley's signature plays. When you go wide out in the open, you see somebody in the near side open. They space out and they go for that extra pass. Just a little bit of a miscue on that trip, but they get another go at it.
A flurry of moves gets Quinton Ethier open in the near corner. He's working on Noah Kaja. Has the size advantage. Off the glass, doesn't get it to go. Ostaprak tracks down the loose ball. Caleb Roberts left alone. That's a dangerous look as he makes them pay.
It's those kickouts to the top which really burned Hodan Prep. They were not ready to apply that pressure around the perimeter.
That time, a second chance opportunity. Ridley in front by 2 in this back and forth opening half. Noah Kaja switches on to the big, pulls up, and drains the mid-range Jimmy.
I love how confident, it doesn't matter who's in front of Kaja, he knows that he can just visualize the back of the net. Like, his form is not broken ever.
And he had a good decision of not going on the 3 and got close.
Quinton Ethier kicks it out. Shot is up. Ostaprak finds the bottom as well.
And Ostaprak had a rough night last night. He's definitely making up for it in his first field goal here in this weekend.
One foul away from fouling out of the game last night in that third quarter held him to minimal minutes. If he can stay disciplined in this championship game, who knows exactly how he can contribute. Saad Chowdhury doesn't have the response. And Ostaprak comes away with the loose ball. Up head to Callum Smith, and he lays it in. And then barks at Chowdhury for being late on the contest.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for Hodan Prep. It looks like they're going to get one of their bigs back in, Ian McBride. They need his points right away.
Sensori Hercules off the mark. It's a 5-point lead for Ridley with a chance to add. Collinson, far side, Ostaprak. Calls his own number, back iron, loose ball. Offensive rebound, Quinton Ethier, Caleb Roberts, feet set, nice find, good finish.
Basketball IQ at its finest, thanks to their captain, Caleb Roberts.
Caleb Roberts looked like he was going to the basket, saw it out of the corner of his eye. Griffin Collinson cutting, made the pass on time, on target.
I will say, too, for Collinson, good on him to stay ready, because at that point, most people, with Roberts, when he's beyond the arc, you have such confidence that you know he's going to make it. Most people would instinctually just kind of turn around and look up and wait for either the opportunity for a rebound chance. But good on him for being mindful and staying aware of where the ball was.
First time out of the second quarter means that I got to let you know. Ontario Basketball Association and Rogers and Uptown Wireless are bringing you unbeatable deals on wireless plans. As a valued OBA member, you now have access to exclusive savings on Rogers services, helping you stay connected whether you're at home, on the road, or sitting courtside. Don't miss out. Visit basketball.on.ca today to explore your exclusive offers and experience the power of connection with Rogers. Stay connected, stay in the game, powered by OPA and Rogers. 6:20 left to play in the opening half as we get a look at that dime and finish from Collinson. Sensori Hercules just let him sneak in behind and get an easy look at 2 to put his team up by 7.
One for the highlight reel. One thing to point out too, JJ, there are 2 seniors for the Tigers. This will do it for them. Their final game in a Tigers uniform, and so far Griffin Collinson getting one in the highlight reel in his swan song for the Tigers.
It's kind of hard to believe, and your brain starts to wonder what this team might look like next year. You know, having made it to this championship game, who knows what the remaining time of this game will dictate. But having more time together and another season under your belt only grows that chemistry and that belief and that team.
And ever since the season started, Ridley was a powerhouse, a force to be reckoned with. Keep in mind, their first game was a loss to Royal Crown, who won the championship, but they've gone on a tear ever since.
McBride back on the floor for Hodan. Kaja turns the corner, shakes them, and gets the nice floater in the lane. Noah Kaja taking over the game for Hodan Prep.
And that's how he was able to get the Hodan Prep team back against Royal Crown yesterday. Those quick-witted moves, which led to quick buckets.
Josiah Roberts guarding Caleb Roberts up close and personal. Called for the foul. Caleb Roberts can probably taste Josiah Roberts' sweat after that one.
I think the problem is that with someone like Caleb Roberts, Josiah Roberts can do nothing but guard him close. You have to. You can't give him any kind of space. But with that, though, because he's so fast, sometimes it results in you giving him a foul.
2 quick fouls on Roberts, Josiah Roberts.
And it looked to me that Callum Smith vacated that screen early, maybe got away with a little bit of a moving one, as Jaden Lee is going to check back in for Gus Gymnopoulos' job. So who will guard Caleb Roberts now? Dante Jones is on him currently, and he does receive that assignment. Quinton Ethier looks for some help. Collinson back into the paint, and Dante Jones in the passing lanes knocks it loose. 4.2 on the shot clock.
We saw yesterday how Dante Jones could just explode at the basket on both ends. He's definitely showing that in the mid-range of the shot clock, winding down. Quick timeout.
5-point lead for Ridley, and head coach Victor Razzo wants to talk about it.
And we've seen this before, JJ, with Coach Razzo calling a timeout off of there, and they usually explode right out of the timeout, get a little play off on the sidelines, and get that shot to go. Hodan's going to have to shut them down right away.
Similar to Crestwood, they kind of have a baseline inbound where either Roberts kind of looks for Callum Smith off the immediate, or they inbound it to Roberts. Then there's a screen that kind of goes the way of, it's kind of hard to say. Ethier usually kind of gets it if he's on the floor. Quinton Ethier, they usually go for the 3. Sometimes they'll have it where he's right at the free throw line and just goes for kind of like the easy 2-point Jimmy. But I think what they'll do at this point is, I think maybe Roberts is going to inbound the ball. There's going to be a screen, and then Ethier is going to come around and be open.
Vic Razzo, the Sports Person of the Year for Niagara, got that award a few weeks ago at the St. Catharines City Council. CEBL champion this past summer with the Niagara River Lions, Coach of the Year for the Ridley Tigers, and now looking to add another award to the cabinet of awards in a matter of 10 months. Can you believe that? How about that for a year?
You need a bigger wardrobe for all those awards. 4.2 in the shot clock.
Caleb Roberts picked up by Jones. Jones forces him into a tough shot, and he leaves it short. Lee collects the loose ball, hands it off to Dante Sensori Hercules. Swing, swing, swing. The All-American rejects. Dante Jones working baseline. Keeps the dribble alive. Sensori Hercules with a nice step through and fouled by Smith. Didn't think he would leave it that short, and so the foul made sense. Couldn't see it from this angle.
The problem was I think he was, as soon as Sensori Hercules turned the corner, Smith was already a step behind, and at that point, just jump straight up. Don't allow him to punch the gap and beat you, right? Like, you've fought hard on defense. Don't allow him to beat you on something so easy.
Sensori Hercules at the line for a look at 2. 22 points, 5 rebounds in last night's semifinal victory. Leaves the first one short.
That brings them up to a total of 45 points in the playoffs. You have talking about 22.5 points in the last couple of days. Phenomenal.
Daniel Meisner checks back in as Callum Smith catches a breather. Misses both. But then the wherewithal to go and disrupt that outlet pass. Ridley's really good at breaking the press. It's not much of a press right now, but last night, late in the game, when things were looking bleak, they were able to do it and get transition buckets quite easily. Deep in the shot clock, 7 seconds left. Downhill, Caleb Roberts, acrobatic finish.
And it doesn't matter who you are, if you don't have a body on him, he's going to make you play. He went up the gut from top to bottom.
Sensori Hercules swings it. Jaden Lee fakes the shot. Good defense by Caleb Roberts. So you get great offense, then you get textbook defense, then Quinton Ethier goes in for the jump ball.
Caleb Roberts. Go ahead.
You know what? All I was going to say was Quinton Ethier thought he had ripped it away cleanly. Clearly he did.
Either way, Caleb Roberts was a pest off of that loose ball.
Just feels like he's got something to prove, doesn't it? Timeout, Hodan Prep, 4:31 left in the second quarter, 7-point lead for Ridley. And we said at the top of this game off the air, but we can bring it to our viewers now, that we thought if Hodan had a chance to win this game, they had to keep it to single digits prior to the halftime. They are there right now. What do they need to do differently on the offensive side other than give the ball to Noah Kaja and say, go to work?
Well, they have to keep on swinging the ball around. If they notice that they have some space right at the wings, they got to go to it, go for that baseline drive a little bit and get a higher percentage shot and try to go to the line. Those free throws, they're going to count either way, but you have to drive the baseline and you have to be confident on that drive too.
I think they need to drive, but they also need to create movement on the floor. A lot of the times, their drives or plays are starting from their players just remaining stagnant, and they can't do that, especially on as strong of a defense as Ridley, because they're just going to be all on you. And we saw a great example of that with the last possession with Ethier grabbing the jump ball. You can't remain standing. You have to continue the movement, but also in the same breath, though, if Hodan can do that, then Ridley is going to be drawn out of position. They're going to be drawn a little bit higher, and hopefully they can kind of get maybe a backdoor cut, which I know that Kaja has kind of been benefiting from the last game we've seen him play. So hopefully they can kind of just capitalize on that, Hodan, and keep it within the single-digit lead that we've seen before half.
Time keeps on ticking into the future. 4:31 left in the opening half. J.J. Evison, Aaron Sanders, Sydney Holmes here at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center. All weekend long, it's been great hoops. Kaja on the catch and shoot, and he misses poorly. Caleb Roberts looking to set a new world record for the 100-meter dash. Down the middle of the court, calls it back. Sensori Hercules flies by. Roberts leaves that one on the rim. Collinson steps out of bounds. The officials really letting them play here for this championship game, and that's what you want in a championship game.
You want it to come down to missed plays and missed buckets, not fouls. Hopefully it won't come down to fouls.
Here we go, 5-out offense for Hodan Prep. Couple of screens. Sensori Hercules wants it on the inside. A fight for it with CJ Roberts. Very physical down low. Sensori Hercules top side now. One dribble between the legs to create separation. There's the foul called.
The stamina of CJ Roberts has to be one of the best anyone has seen in the OSBA. He started playing defense down low on the box out. See Caleb Roberts checking out, but again on CJ's case, trying to box out and then just sprinted right up to the top to pick up on the man-to-man, and he's still on the court. He doesn't have his hands on his knees or anything. This guy is a workhorse.
Jackson Baker checks back in, the 6'1 guard class of 2027. Kaja, the catch and shoot, overcooked. Collinson able to save it. Baker looking for somebody to give it to. Turns the corner. Kaja stays with him. Quinton Ethier now working on Lee. Gets some separation from the elbow. Bottom.
The flamingo floater over Jaden Lee. It's that quick jab step that will burn you every time.
Kaja over the screen, looking for the roller, steps back. It's a long two if it goes, and it does.
That's one of the cleanest looks Kaja has had in the second quarter. Most of his shots have come contested to the point where he's unable to plant his feet for a good look.
10 points for Kaja as well, so he is carrying more than half of the points for Hodan Prep right now.
Travel called before the contact. Collinson irate about it. Meisner right there to calm him down, tell him to focus on the next play.
That was a good call, I think. I know he collected and took a couple steps before the foul occurred, so I think that was a good call.
Farhan Beg right up top on that call.
Jaden Lee picked up by Quinton Ethier. Dump off to Saad Chowdhury. Working on Meisner. Kaja gets back. Baker in the air. Swing. Lee for three. Front iron. Sensori Hercules above everybody off the glass. Offensive rebound and put back Dante Sensori Hercules.
And that's where we're looking. More paint presence from Hodan Prep.
Five-point lead for Ridley as we approach the 2-minute mark. CJ Roberts tries to do it all himself. Ill-advised. Travel. Victor Razzo going to call a timeout. Didn't like what he saw from that last offensive possession. Can you blame him, Sydney?
No, it was too solo. I mean, I know that there's no problem when you say, hey, get to the rim, CJ Roberts, do your best. But there is a certain thing as doing too much dribbling. And I've always been a big proponent of if you're going to dribble that much, dribble to go somewhere. And he tried, but the first time he attacked it, and the door shut when the Hodan defense, you got to just kick it out and look for something else.
That's the problem with the ISO game. They're trying to create a play so they come up with a highlight finish. But no, there were 2 or 3 blue shirts in waiting for CJ Roberts, and it was costly. That play was costly.
And when you look at what Hodan Prep's been able to do down the stretch here in the second quarter, they must have been listening to the call because Aaron, swing, open looks, screens on the off ball, and they've been getting good looks, just haven't been able to connect on them.
And that's right. Well, we've seen that from a couple of teams over the last couple of days, too. And I'm sure Coach Giannopoulos is saying that as well. If you're going to go to the rack, you have to finish strong or try to take the contact and go to the line. Because look at this. It's still a 2-possession game, and it could chip away to 1 with the bucket or a trip to the free throw line. But you have to make them. If you're going to be confident on the drive, be confident on the free throws.
Hodan Prep on their own baseline to inbound. Saad Chowdhury. As Noah Kaja inches closer to accept the inbound pass.
It's a smart move to have Chowdhury go for the inbound pass instead of him receiving it. Because we've seen when he dribbles and when he moves, a little bit of a stutter step could force a turnover and let Ridley collapse right all over him.
The handoff to Sensori Hercules on the swing pass. Looking for Dylan Jones freshly into the game, but it's turned over. Caleb Roberts. Can't shake Lee, gives it up to Collinson. Number 24 on number 24, Callum Smith. Poked away on the backside. Chowdhury thought he had it cleanly. Chris Pucella says he got a piece of his arm. Correction, it was Dave Maxine on the call. Roberts from the corner, that's gonna fall.
A bread and butter play for Ridley out of bounds, and who else to answer the call than Caleb Roberts?
Sid, what do you tell your team when they're guarding the inbounder?
I say don't look at the inbounder. Go to double where the first pass is intended for, and then turn around.
Over and back, even though it was deflected, that counts as an over and back.
There's no sense in guarding somebody where you know where they're going to be. I would turn my back, at least for the first pass. The help side needs to be there, though, and I think that needs to be communicated.
Problem is, Caleb Roberts inbounded the pass, immediately got to the corner and got the shot up without anybody being in the vicinity.
Those inbounders can be deadly. They could go right onto the shot, as we saw Caleb Roberts just do.
The last 2 offensive possessions for Hodan resulted in turnovers. Can Caleb Roberts make them pay? It's a fight for it. Loose ball, tied up. It'll stay with the Tigers.
Let's see what Caleb Roberts does now after the pass.
Stays baseline, tries to get away from Kaja. Does. Kaja stays with him, hands up. Good defense from Noah Kaja. Kerfin Collinson just says, give me that, I want it. 3 blue jerseys around him, and Griffin Collinson comes down with it, and we'll head to the free throw line for a look at 2. Demir Osprak coming back in. Callum Smith to the bench for Victor Razzo's squad. Collinson steps up to the line. Off to the right on the first.
Not like Collinson. I mean, to be fair, his shot's kind of been off all night. He had the 2 missed threes early in the first quarter. Now a missed free throw.
The second is all net. 9-point lead now. Ridley starting to open this one up as we approach the 1-minute mark of the opening half. Dante Jones and Noah Kaja playing give and go. Sensori Hercules takes the handoff. Stutter step into the lane, finishes through contact. Count the basket and the foul. CJ Roberts didn't have position. Hoping to get another look at that take. Dante Sensori Hercules, you need a bucket, give him a call.
Bit of a stare down from Sensori Hercules on Roberts there too. And I think we're seeing something similar that we did last game is Roberts is finding himself in a little bit of foul trouble earlier on here.
Sensori Hercules at the line for one. Drains it. This game has a great competitive feel to it without getting out of hand right now. The kind of competition you'd expect in a men's championship game here at the OSBA level. Collinson tries to do it himself, gets around, blocked at the top by Sensori Hercules. Here's some offense, here's some defense to number 11 in blue. McBride, dump off, well read by Quinton Ethier. 14 on the shot clock, Lee gives it up to Jones, working baseline. Nice cut, two-handed jam, doesn't see it through.
The donut missed the
Sensori
clock.
Hercules count the basket?
No.
The other way, sorry. Let's get another look at that baseline cut.
That's what I've been talking about. All those baseline drives can help you, but Sensori Hercules was close for the emphatic throwdown. And foul call with 20 and a half to go.
And those are the ones, as a coach, you're like, just lay it in, right? That could have made it a 4-point game. Instead, Demir Osprak's at the line the other way, as it's the 15th foul on Hodan. Leaves it short. Shot clock's turned off. Could be one possession left here if Hodan so choose, or if Ridley come away with the steal. Demir Osprak, small forward, 6'5", not so small. Former Cyprus U16 national team MVP, missed free throw, Ethier with the rebound. Caleb Roberts gets his defender in the air, helps there, and that's off the mark. Still plenty of time for Hodan to get a look. Dante Jones into the corner. Lee in motion, that rims around and out. Jackson Baker slowed up by Dante Jones, and Baker will go to the line for two.
And Dante Jones did too much on both sides of the floor. He bit the fake from Robertson on the other end, trying to make up off of that play. And another look at it. Here comes Dante. Just charged a little too much. Lean in, go for the steal, and instead he gets called for the foul.
Jackson Baker, a Canada Basketball National Champ in 2023, at the line. 6-point lead, looking to make it 7 and potentially 8. Baker makes them both. Sensori Hercules. Time ticks off. The leaning floater is just off to the right. 35-27, Ridley ahead, and Hodan do keep it to single digits at the half. Plenty to work with moving forward in this game, and lots to build off if you're Hodan Prep. For Ridley, a couple of adjustments to be made, but really you're in a good spot. You've been doing things good in the second quarter. You've got plenty to work with in terms of the depth there. Let's take a look at some highlights from the first half.
Ridley's game for the first half has been speed. We see that nice high-low pass down low to Callum Smith to get things going, but it's been the Caleb Roberts show all season, taking charges, taking it to the hole, taking shots. Hodan Prep in the second quarter, getting right back into the ball game by going deep. There were a couple of opportunities where they should have made those buckets, but look at the second chance opportunity from Dante Censuri Hercules. He's been stealing the show for Hodan Prep, but you have to be careful how Ridley responds, because if they get you in the corner or in the mid-range game, it could be lights out.
I think a lot of the fouls that have kind of been coming to Hodan Prep have just been over-committing. They try to go for the tip so they can go for the fast break opportunities so they can get the dunk or the easy layup, but take time. Understand that you have the position on defense. You don't need to overcommit if not necessary, and just take your time. The game is still well within reach, so don't allow yourself to be taken out of it because of silly fouls.
Ridley College ahead at the half. We'll step aside and be back with third and fourth quarter action. Stay with us. At least 20 more minutes of action as we get a look at the hardware that's up for grabs. The trophy, the MVP trophy, and the rings freshly polished for the winner of this, the OSBA men's game. At the half, Caleb Roberts, 14 points, 4 boards, and Dante Sensori Hercules with 10. Add another 10 for Noah Kaja, and you've got yourself a game. It's an 8-point lead, as I said, Aaron. What needs to change in the second half for Hodan? Does anything need to change? They've had some great looks, they just haven't gone down.
Yeah, they've had some great looks, but defensively, they need a lot of changes because they're realizing CJ Roberts and Carter Roberts is going to go up for those rebounds for the second chance opportunity. They have to deny all those second chances because Ridley's making them. Hodan on the other end, they're crashing down for shots, but they have to be more confident. They have to keep on swinging it down low because that's how you're going to beat Ridley.
J.J. Evison, Sidney Holmes, Aaron Sanders with you for the next 20 minutes of action. Probably about 40 to 45 in real time the way this game's been being played. Ridley College 2 quarters away from taking home a championship, and around December I started watching a little bit more closely, and they're the team that I tagged to win it all this year. They just seem to have the pedigree and the DNA of what makes up a champion squad, Sydney.
I think right now we're seeing Hodan Prep is remaining competitive, and I think it's worth to note that they have 12 bench points in comparison to the 4 from Ridley. So they do have players that are coming onto the floor making that immediate impact. I just think that they need to be able to make it on a consistent basis for it to show up on the scoreboard.
Hodan Prep have it to start the second half. Dante Sensori Hercules, the leader of the team in blue, ready to get to work. Over the top, Caleb Roberts does enough to disrupt the entry pass. It's going to be out of bounds. Sensori Hercules has got to hurry back into the play. Griffin Collinson now carrying it over the timeline. Callum Smith. Collinson hits the deck in the paint. Smith picked up by McBride. This is one of those matchups we highlighted off the top of the show. Quinton Ethier with a dump off. Smith, quick release, bounces in and out. Josiah Roberts, the recipient of the dish pass. Here's Sensori Hercules. Down low, McBride. Josiah Roberts working on Collinson. Into the paint, stops. Knocked out of bounds by Quinton Ethier. Swallowed up down low. Help coverage comes.
And now Hodan's taking a gamble, JJ, of having Chowdhury and Josiah Roberts into the game. Both players did not fare well in the first half.
Stepping out of bounds, Jaden Lee gives up the possession. Again, that far side corner seems to be a trouble spot for both sides.
Well, nobody's planting their feet and making sure where they're at.
Both teams pretty equal in terms of turnovers. 7 for Hodan Prep, 6 for Ridley. So I think that needs to definitely be something that both teams need to diminish here in the second half of play.
Quinton Ethier just bodies Jaden Lee. Really good defense staying in front of Ethier, but Ethier's size and strength gets him to the basket for easy 2.
Body in the bucket for the third All-Star team member.
Here's Chowdhury. Gives it up to Sensori Hercules. Working on Ostaprak, spinning into the lane, slips. McBride saves it to Chowdhury. Roberts throws it off. The Flamingo shot off the glass and through. You got to be good to be lucky.
But man, a Flamingo floater from outside of the shot clock expired. Again, good clock awareness. He knew he had to go for a catch and shoot. Ethier.
Ethier has the response. Ethier's got 5 points to kick off the second half for Ridley. Jaden Lee comes up, kick far side, given right back. Perimeter ball movement. Foul on the side. Callum Smith called for the contact on McBride. First team foul goes the way of Ridley in the third quarter. Shot clock resets to 14. Ostaprak Slags off of Sensori Hercules, and Smith doesn't get out in time.
That is the 13th point for Sensori Hercules off of that look down the far wing.
Looks like Sensori Hercules is comfortable with Demir Ostaprak guarding him. A deep three from Collinson's off the mark.
Oh my gracious.
Yeah, Caleb Roberts jumps behind Jaden Lee, and that's actually a very dangerous play going towards the bench and those chairs, but has the wherewithal as we get another look to throw it off of Lee.
That's a smart move from one of the fastest runners to someone that could win in the high jump, but it's still Ridley's ball.
Caleb to CJ, the floater, back iron, Lee pulls down the board. Roberts walks into a three, you leave him alone, he's gonna chase down his own rebound, but Smith corrals it first. Now it's Caleb to CJ again, this time CJ into the paint, gonna take it, blocked by McBride, and McBride absolutely stares him down after that.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've mentioned McBride's name, but a defensive presence underneath as he was waiting for that. CJ Roberts thought he was going to stroll in, but no, interrupting the nice walk at the night, Ian McBride.
Holding call on Noah Kaja down low right in front of Chris Bucella. Smith to Collinson. Sensori Hercules does a good job to get out to him. Fading away from the basket, and it's good for Griffin Collinson.
And Quentin Ethier sprung out of the mid-range and set up that pick so he could allow his player to get open. 9-point game.
Chowdhury on the far side. Here's Josiah Roberts trying to create separation from Collinson. Dribbles it off his own foot. Roberts to Roberts connection. It's a 4-on-3. Roberts from the deep spot. No. Smith with the rebound. Doesn't get the putback. Then swats it out of bounds. And you see Coach Victor Razzo on the sideline imploring his team to calm down. As we get a substitution, Daniel Meisner into the game. Callum Smith to the bench. Lead back up to 9 for Ridley. Kaja. Foul called on the floor. Meisner into the game, picks up a foul rather quickly. Baseline out of bounds now. Ridley's got 2 fouls. And Chowdhury accepts it near the timeline. Swing to Kaja in the corner. Tries to shake Roberts, tough to do, from the elbow, fading away, no, Roberts with the rebound. That's Caleb Roberts, who gives it up to CJ Roberts now. He wants Meisner out, he wants the one-on-one with Kaja. Gets the spin, gets the floater, leaves it short. Kaja with the rebound, out on the run. Looks off his teammate, last touched by Kaja and out of bounds. Little indecisiveness.
The hesitation was smart, especially at the free throw line, because all the momentum was pushing forward. The only problem is that there was no one to kind of give the pass to. There was no one streaking down to the corner with him.
Josiah Roberts locked in on Caleb Roberts. Quentin Ethier down, working on the smaller Kaja. The dump off not there. McBride swallows it up. Another offensive set going to run through Kaja. The back cut, Chowdhury couldn't find him. Josiah Roberts has the screen from McBride, resets it. And Kaja saves that from going out of bounds. 3 on the shot clock, dials it from deep. Nothing but net for Noah Kaja.
In the grill of Quentin Ethier. Again, Hodan going deep into the shot clock. They have to find a way to get a shot off around with 8 or 7 seconds to go. Collision.
Quentin Ethier going to be, scratch that, it's going to go on Collinson for the foul away from the ball. Could have been a foul away from the ball, could have been a non-ball foul. There's bodies all over the floor.
I know the problem. Collinson was not arguing, but he was questioning the call that was made. The problem is that, again, there was no time allowed for Collinson to get set the screen. Like, it was, Roberts was kind of gone a bit too early on that play. He needed to give him a lot more time.
Couldn't see it there. We see Josiah Roberts hit the deck, but the foul was actually against Noah Kaja. He took the contact on the far side. We play on. Josiah Roberts, jump stop, kicking it back out. Noah Kaja picked up by the young Jackson Baker. Elevates from the elbow. Tough bucket from Noah Kaja. It's either Sensori Hercules or Kaja. You got to get into their grill, and you got to do it the second that you're on them.
Very good awareness from Hodan to just go to the right side and create a clean look.
Baker lets it fall out of bounds off of his leg. And watch out now. Here comes Hodan Prep. A sliver of hope and a little bit of confidence. Tough recipe. And
already 15 points for Kaja as well. It's not like we didn't see this style of play against Royal Crown. The only thing is that he didn't have the ability to truly show off his true mid-range game, and it's really coming to fruition today.
Downhill blocked by C.J. Roberts. For those following Hodan Prep, it's no surprise about Noah Kaja. 31 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals, and a 10-point loss to Royal Crown. He plays great against exceptionally skilled teams. He had 9 3-pointers in that. If he can get going from deep, who knows how Hodan can hold on and maybe make a run down the stretch. But right now, it's a 4-point lead for Ridley. Catch and shoot. Josiah Roberts off the mark. Meisner collects the change. Jackson Baker stutter step into the lane. Blocked at the top by Chowdhury. You can't go left and finish right. You're just asking to be blocked. Half-court set. Dante Sensori Hercules has some space. Loses the handle. Gives it out to Roberts. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Jaden Lee. Does he see one go? No, leaves it short. Foul down low on Collinson. He took down Josiah Roberts, who was in search of that offensive rebound.
And the way Josiah Roberts has been playing, he's been playing streaky, but he's making up for it for his ability to follow through on the shots, not only on his own, but for everybody else's.
Something to note as well, that's already the 4th team foul for Ridley. With 3 minutes still remaining here in the third quarter, that could give him enough time, Hodan Prep, to drive in and head straight to the foul line.
Free throws from here on out in this quarter for Hodan Prep. They still have 3 fouls to give. Kaja working on Baker. Roberts. Sensori Hercules fighting for it. And Sensori Hercules is going to go to the line for 2. C.J. Roberts called for the hook. And C.J. Roberts does initiate contact on the defensive side of the ball quite often. Tries to make it look like the offensive player's tying him up. So the officials got that right from our vantage point.
Yeah, he lost that battle down in the deep wing.
Sensori Hercules back at the line.
Problem for C.J. Roberts is that's now his 3rd foul. It's still, again, there's still time to remain competitive, but you don't want 3 fouls with 3 minutes left in the third, right? You still have 13 minutes left to play if you consider the entirety of the 4th quarter.
Sensori Hercules brings his team to within 2. Caleb Roberts working on Josiah again. Quinton Ethier just off the mark. Jaden Lee pulls it down and will settle things down. Patience and poise for Hodan Prep in the front court. Josiah Roberts, straightaway 3, no. A couple of Ridley players looking at each other like who's going to grab the rebound. Meisner does and hands it off to Baker. Moving left, picked up by Lee. Meisner, step back, tries to get the move on McBride. Baker in the corner, back iron. Oh my gosh, does he just keep rising when he jumps or what? C.J. Roberts with the rebound and the putback.
Second chance opportunities come from those who don't realize they need to box out and rise up for the rebound. And C.J. Roberts, the only one from behind to go sky high for 2.
Jaden Lee, Sensori Hercules, top side. Kaja for three, drains it.
Too easy. A lot of presence into the paint, which leads to that extra pass.
That's
Ridley,
what the...
No, I was just about to say Ridley now is in a position where they can't. I'm surprised it's allowed them to be this long, where they can't let Kaja just alone by himself out there.
Meisner with the response off the glass. Sensori Hercules doesn't rub shoulders with McBride to create separation. Gets it anyway. Kaja, comfortable three. When you're good, you're good. And when you're good, you're lucky. Kaja gets the bounce.
We have an old-fashioned shootout, JJ. Bucket for bucket, heat check after heat check.
Kaja almost comes away with the strip on the low pass to Quinton Ethier. 54.9 left in the third quarter. Ridley up by one. The OSBA Men's Championship on the line. Caleb Roberts picks up his dribble. Meisner tries to beat McBride on the dribble. Jackson Baker, help defense is there. McBride comes over in time. Fouled on the way up. Jackson Baker to the line. Foul goes on Sensori Hercules. Stiff rim for Baker. One for two on the trip. Kept well on the outside. Kaja takes to the corner. Nice step back. Oh, blocked at the top by Baker. Doesn't get the shot off the second chance. Great defensive stop by Ridley.
Started with Jackson Baker all up in his grill onto the block, and Hodan just not only hesitated, but they panicked.
I mean, finally they're guarding Kaja a lot closer than they have been. Getting 21 points was no small feat, and especially in three quarters. So they need to guard him that heavy the rest of the game if they don't want him to be an immediate threat.
15 seconds left in the third quarter. Baker over the timeline, working to his left. Hands it off to C.J. Roberts, picked up by Sensori Hercules. Roberts gets space to the older brother, Caleb. Josiah Roberts staying right with him. Josiah Roberts with the steal, throws it up, half-court heave off the shot clock. And the third quarter comes to an end. It's a 2-point lead for Ridley with 10 minutes of regulation basketball left to be played. I ask you this, are you not entertained? And at the break, I need to remind you that the Ontario Basketball Association and Rogers and Uptown Wireless are bringing you unbeatable deals on wireless plans. As a valued OBA member, you now have access to exclusive savings on Rogers services, helping you stay connected whether you're at home, on the road, or courtside. Don't miss out. Visit basketball.on.ca today to explore your exclusive offers and experience the power of connection with Rogers. Stay connected, stay in the game, powered by OBA and Rogers. You watching some highlights from the third quarter.
And that's what it comes down to, heart and hustle. You have to follow up on the shots. C.J. Roberts met at the rim by Ian McBride for a block sandwich. Down to the other end, Josiah Roberts. He's improved his game since the opening quarter, and he's playing selflessly as he's hustling for more. But Noah Kaja has been the story for Hodan as they come out of the gates in the third quarter. Look at that. Catch and shoot threes. Little tap dancer that goes through. And remember, Kaja was the catalyst for their comeback win over Royal Crown yesterday, something that Coach Razzo and company has to pay attention to for the final 10.
Right now, if I was Hodan Prep, I would continue with the defensive schemes that they have. I don't really have anything to kind of mention to them on defense. I think they're doing as good as is to be expected from them at this point. They're being very consistent. What I want to see from them on offense, though, is I don't want them to rely solely on Kaja to get those last-second buckets, because he has been, but there needs to be somebody else that can work inside. I also know McBride has been pretty crucial from beyond the arc, too, so maybe we can see him kind of get back to that form now. But if I was Hodan, I would really be focused on shutting down Roberts, both of them, actually, because both have been a problem for Ridley. I would say shutting down the Roberts brothers, making sure that you don't allow easy buckets to kind of go inside. And also the last thing, too, don't let anything go without getting a body on it. What I mean is don't let a rebound happen without at least somebody being there, some defensive presence. Don't allow a pass go off with an arm not being on the body. There needs to be a constant presence from Hodan and Ridley on both sides. This is a close game as we expected it to be. I think it's going to be a nail-biter all the way to the end, but in order for it to stay that way, both teams need to be aggressive.
Dante Sensori Hercules there in the third quarter had a couple of options to be fed over top. Ridley did a great job of defending that. Now, if you're Hodan, you got to know the foul count. CJ Roberts has 3. He's got the ball in the front court now. If you continue to attack him, he's a physical player. He could get his 4th, which puts Victor Razzo in a tough spot decision-wise. Quinton Ethier gives it right back to Caleb. Caleb drops it off for CJ. CJ to the corner. Baker sidesteps Kaja and drains the 3.
Yeah, this is the second time we saw a player from Hodan bite that fake, and Noah Kaja just skies right and out of bounds. Quick steal.
Baker with his hand in the cookie jar comes away with a pair. CJ Roberts left with time and space, back iron. And Ian McBride pulls down the board, battling with Callum Smith underneath.
And he has to be well involved in the fourth quarter. Use that depth to your advantage.
CJ Roberts doing a great job keeping Sensori Hercules from getting to his spot. Turns the corner. Jaden Lee steps in from the free throw line. Back iron, and Lee has had a hard time finding the bottom of the basket tonight. Ethier working on Lee now. Favorable matchup for Ethier. The double comes. They find Jackson Baker. He dismisses Kaja. And Jaden Lee saves it to Dante Sensori Hercules after it was tipped to the corner by CJ Roberts. Josiah Roberts calmly hands it off to Kaja. Lee on the far side, and now Sensori Hercules. This is that matchup we've been seeing. McBride, late in the shot clock. Kaja, dead on, off the front of the iron. McBride has it, 14 on the shot clock. Lee, feet set, and again, rims around and out.
Roberts didn't even bother to go out and really guard him fully on that one because unfortunately Lee just has not been hitting a single shot in this game.
Ridley up by 5, 7:52 left in the fourth quarter. Caleb Roberts whip past Quinton Ethier, back iron, Lee snatches the board. Change of speed. Josiah Roberts, 12 on the shot clock. Noah Kaja, picked up by Ethier. Ian McBride tries to go baseline. Smith swallows him up. McBride does attack and fouled on the way up by Quinton Ethier. Nearly missed the flush.
Callum Smith needs to cut off that angle a lot better than what he did. There's no way that McBride could easily step by him like how he did. All he had to do was take his right foot and put it on the baseline. Put it out of bounds if you have to, because that way the only place that McBride had to go was out.
Would you assume the reason why Callum Smith let him go is because he thought that McBride went out of bounds? I mean, look how close they were to the baseline.
Possibly, or maybe he was relying too much on that help defense, which I've said it once and I'll say it again. Help defense is there for help if you need it, not to just let the guy go and hopefully he'll be there to kind of block him for you.
Ian McBride sinks them both, and Saad Chowdhury checks in for the big man after the made free throws. Collinson gets it back, whips it to the near wing. Jackson Baker downhill, leaves it short. Callum Smith with the rebound and the putback. Dante Jones into the game, slips as he gives it up to Dante Sensori Hercules. Noah Kaja working into the middle, tries to shake Ethier. Downhill, turns it around. Josiah Roberts, straightaway three, off glass.
And since he had some miscues in the second quarter, he's been heating up, making smart choices. He was wide open right up top, and he knew that he could knock it down with ease.
Ethier, far side, working on Kaja. It's a favorable matchup for Ethier. Finds Smith in the lane. Smith leaves it short. Kaja with the rebound. Hodan stuck two, looking to cut into that lead, either tie or take the lead here. 6:17 left in the fourth quarter. They slag off Dante Sensori Hercules, so he gives it up. Kaja makes a move. There's a back cut. Dante Jones puts it down. We're knotted up at 53.
And Jones came right from the far wing out of that play. Great ball awareness.
I'll say, too, beautiful pause and court visibility there from Kaja, because he could have easily taken that mid-range shot, which he's done multiple times this game, but he decided to pass it.
And on the defensive end, Kaja takes the charge from Caleb Roberts. Well read on that side of the ball as well.
We saw that a handful of times against Royal Crown yesterday, and that's going to lead to a Ridley timeout. What a surge from Hodan.
Timeout in the fourth quarter. You know what that means. Ontario Basketball Association and Rogers and Uptown Wireless are bringing you unbeatable deals on wireless plans. As a valued OBA member, you now have access to exclusive savings on Rogers services, helping you stay connected whether you're at home, on the road, or sat courtside. Don't miss out. Visit basketball.on.ca today to explore your exclusive offers and experience the power of connection with Rogers. Stay connected, stay in the game. Powered by OBA and Rogers. .548 left in the fourth, 53 aside. 2 team fouls on Ridley, 0 on Hodan Prep, and they have impressed everyone in this gymnasium with their ability to stay toe-to-toe with Ridley on both sides of the ball and stay disciplined. No fouls here in the fourth quarter.
Said they did a tremendous job defensively, but I got to give my props to Josiah Roberts. He was good defensively, and he's really making it show on the other end of the floor, getting some good looks. He's been one of the underestimated players coming into the semifinals, but his leadership has helped Hodan get back into the ball game. Now they have to apply it more with 5:48 left.
Well, I think a lot of people would have thought that Sensori Hercules would have been the one to guard Caleb Roberts off the front, because in my mind, that's kind of like the 1-2 matchup. So to put Josiah Roberts on him and for him to do as well as he has in this game, I think that deserves to be applauded for sure.
Josiah Roberts, the BioSteel All-Canadian next one up participant 2023. Again, Canadian National Invitational Championship with Red Rush in 2022. Saad Chowdhury from the corner. No. Josiah Roberts tosses it to Dante Jones, who finishes.
And Hodan has a team that could follow up, and there's your proof.
Dante Jones gives Hodan the lead, 55-53. As we approach the halfway mark of the fourth quarter, Jackson Baker gives it back to Caleb Roberts into the paint, elevates, blocked at the top by Josiah Roberts, and Josiah traveled.
The problem was he was trying to rip it and go because he knew that the court was free up ahead, but you can't do that before you have the possession.
Finish one play before moving on to the next.
Exactly.
Quick in, top side. Baker has it, finds Collinson in the corner. Foul on the screener. And so Hodan pick up their first foul. That's a good foul, right? You've got plenty to give. You're approaching the midway mark of the fourth quarter. If you're given 4 fouls, I should say, you got to use 4 of them.
And that helps slow the tempo and the play down a bit.
And if anything, I wouldn't want Collinson to get going in any sense, especially if I'm Hodan.
Collinson with it now, picked up by Sensori Hercules. Josiah Roberts goes for the steal. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Saad Chowdhury on the switch. Caleb Roberts able just to shoot, and Noah Kaja snatches the rebound. Sensori Hercules uses the screen from Chowdhury. But Collinson able to stay with him. Chowdhury rocked to the deck. top side. Here's Kaja working on Ethier. Pulls up and misses wide right. Deep into the shot clock, not much left to do, but toss it up and hope for a prayer.
There was also nobody moving to give Kadri another option. That's all he had to do.
Offense going to go through Collinson here in the middle. Baker looking forward, Callum down low. Instead, it's Roberts up top. Guarded by Roberts. Josiah stays with Caleb. Foul's called on the floor. It's going to go on Josiah. So each team with 2 fouls left to give. 4:13 in the fourth quarter. 14 on the shot clock. Ethier accepts the inbound pass, working on Kaja. Takes the shot and makes it. We're knotted up at 55.
They've had a lot of hard tries at the basket, and they finally got one in.
C.J. Roberts kneeling by the scorer's table, ready to check in. The next chance he has. Downhill. Off of Sensori Hercules' body and out of bounds. And in comes C.J. Roberts. Jackson Baker to the bench. Good minutes there in the fourth quarter for Baker. And we saw yesterday in the semifinal game what Ridley was able to do down the stretch, widen the gap, play textbook basketball. Do they have another one in them? Callum Smith has the mismatch, working on Chowdhury. Loses the handle. Tries to get a little more body on him to get closer to the basket. Chowdhury, stutter step, drops Smith, and there on the backside is Sensori Hercules. And sorry, Callum Smith, that is a highlight that's going to be replayed again and again after he hit the deck. Acrobatic attempt for Caleb Roberts, going to the line for a look at 2.
That's going to be on Kadri, actually.
So the last 3 fouls go on Hodan Prep. One more to give. 3:13 left in the fourth quarter, ahead by 2. And they put Ridley's best player at the line.
That has to be a heartbreaker, Sid, for Chowdhury to go back onto the bench because he caused the steal in the last stand. It looked like he was going to have an easy 2, but that did not go for him. And then he gets pinned with another foul.
I think the issue with that one was, too, is that there was just nowhere else for him to go. He kind of just either had to foul or get out of the way and let him have a free basket.
Kaja dumps it off to McBride, who gets it to Josiah Roberts. And another foul on C.J. Roberts. It's his 4th with 3 minutes left in the game. He's got 1 left to give before he fouls out. That could play a factor in this contest. Gus Gymnopoulos calls a timeout to talk it over with his squad. Plenty of ways this could end, and plenty of ways this game could have gone. If you would have told me 3 minutes left, 57-57, I would have wanted to see every second of it, and luckily we have.
I mean, you did say, JJ, we were kind of talking about it at the start of the game, is that Ridley is very composed as a unit. They play probably, not, you know what, they do play probably, they play the best team basketball I've seen in the OSBA this year. So the only chance that Hodan had was remaining consistent on defense, scoring baskets when they had the opportunity to, and keeping the margin within 10 points before half. And they did exactly that this game. I think one of their key contributing factors, Kaja, when he was lighting it up in the mid-range game, and Roberts was holding it down, Josiah Roberts was holding it down on defense. That's exactly the 2-punch combo that they needed to stay consistent in this game.
This is how Hodan Prep got back into the ball game. Well, first the miss off of Chowdhury, but picking it right back up was Dante Sensori Hercules is probably the team MVP for Hodan Prep right now. It's been all him in the second half. Over the back of C.J. Roberts as well, who we know can jump with the best of them.
I think that's, again, on not anticipating anyone to be with you. It doesn't matter, box out, find a body. At that point, find somebody to box out so you don't guarantee that the ball's going to be ending up in your team's hands.
3 minutes of regulation left to be played. Sensori Hercules on the baseline to trigger. Ian McBride not aware of the boundary, steps out of bounds, and that's a turnover.
Callum Smith smothering him off the pass.
Caleb Roberts gets switched on. Then Dante Sensori Hercules meets him at the top, but a rainbow hook shot goes down for Caleb Roberts. Ridley ahead by 2. We saw this last night. They got a bucket, they got a stop, they got another bucket. Sensori Hercules. The flurry of moves, gives it up. Here's Kaja working on Ethier. Kaja gets the step, loses the handle. Loose ball. Quinton Ethier comes away with it. Callum Smith ahead to the front court. Caleb Roberts met at the top, and good defense. Foul going to go on Callum Smith for coming in from the outside. Dante Jones doing a good job of staying vertical and meeting Caleb Roberts at the top. Caleb Roberts looking at the official like, really? You're going to let him get away with that?
I think at this point in the game, especially when Ridley's already at 14 fouls, Hodan's at 3, so they still have another one to give. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're questioning too many calls because you don't want an easy technical to kind of come your way, and then the deficit should just grow even greater.
Sensori Hercules working over the double screen as we approach the 2-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Inside out dribble, downhill, a little bit out of control, and he misses on that one. Ahead, Quinton Ethier. Over the top, ahead of everybody, Callum Smith. That rims around and out. Dante Jones with the rebound. It's a 2-on-1. Jones in the open court, goes up strong. Blocked at the top by Caleb Roberts. And a foul gonna go the other way.
Is that MVP basketball or what? Caleb Roberts right on the case. Finished on the play. That is the block of the championship weekend.
Roberts steps into a 3 comfortably, misses it to the left. Still a 2-point game, 1:40 remaining. Sensori Hercules into the front court. Hands it off to Josiah Roberts. Now it's Dante Jones putting on a flurry of moves off the backboard with the left. Are you kidding me? Dante Jones, where did you come from? Where do you go? I'm not going to say it.
No.
I was going to say, though, JJ, you've been saying all game, go left, finish left, and that's exactly what he did. I thought at one point he was going to go to the right, but he decided to kind of swoop it underneath and finish with the left-hand hook. That was a beautiful layup. Now we're all knotted at 59 with 1:26 seconds remaining here in this game.
This is something I said right at the top of the broadcast, or even in the second quarter. If Hodan wants to have a chance to get back in this game and win the championship, they have to battle hard and go deep. And man alive, when you have star guards that could do that, they will take care of business. And now Ridley has officially met their match down at the paint. They're going to have to find some way to force Hodan to start shooting from outside again, like what they did in the early stages of the game. So you have to spread out your defense more instead of collapsing down while it's in motion.
Exactly. I think also, and again, I've been kind of saying it all day, help side needs to be there. There needs to be a secondary person in case the initial person guarding the offensive player with the ball gets beat, right? There needs to be that secondary option.
Ridley College possession, side out of bounds. C.J. Roberts with 1 foul left to his name, set to trigger. Ethier accepts the inbound pass, 14 on the shot clock. Roberts into the lane, swallowed up by 2 blue jerseys and out of bounds. Chowdhury there alongside Sensori Hercules. Nowhere to go for C.J. Roberts.
Nice closeout on the double team as he was making his way to the basket.
Caleb Roberts gives it away. Kaja coming up in the clutch for Hodan Prep.
Minute 10 championship on the line. Who will take it all the way?
Dante Sensori Hercules has a lane. Another block. Caleb Roberts and Ridley have possession. Did one of the Roberts hit their head on the bottom of the backboard just then?
I think one of them might have. They jumped high enough.
They both collided, that's for sure.
Can we get the measuring tape on how high they went up for that effort? Unbelievable.
And you know, I'm not mistaken when I say this. CJ Roberts did used to compete in track and field. That was kind of his main sport along with basketball as well. So they're an all-around physical family to say the least, which is why their athleticism doesn't surprise me.
So we've seen 100-meter dash and hurdles all in the same game.
Foul called from the baseline official. Caleb Roberts.
Josiah Roberts on the foul.
And we got 2 shots, actually. We're in bonus.
So Caleb Roberts to the free throw line now. Dancing in the backcourt. Josiah Roberts has one to give. Gus Gymnopoulos not happy about it. It's been a physical game all evening.
The true definition of letting it all out for this one game.
Caleb Roberts drains the first. Both sides with 2 timeouts remaining. The second falls through as well. And Gus Gymnopoulos calls a timeout.
2-point differential here, 54.5 seconds remaining in the game. JJ, I know we haven't had the opportunity to ask you anything, so I'm going to go for it. If you're Hodan, what would you say is the biggest thing that you want to execute on this offensive rush here within the 24 seconds?
The biggest thing I want to execute is the play. And the play for me is get one of your bigs switched on to CJ Roberts in an isolation position on the low block. Tell him to smack that ball with 2 hands, turn to the rim, go up strong. Don't anticipate contact. Don't wait for the whistle. Finish the play. Because if you get CJ Roberts out of this game, he is the best on-ball defender and help-side defender that Ridley has, and there's plenty of time left to go back and forth with this squad. That's what I would do.
It's better to take him out of the play instead of waiting to try to box him out for the rebound. He's got that vertical, so a high-low pass should be the case for Hodan to tie this up at 61.
Again, there's also no need for hero ball. I mean, 2 points would tie the game, right?
Exactly my point.
You don't necessarily need to fall in love with the 3. Go in for the 2. There's also only 1 more foul to give for Ridley, so regardless of a foul, next one you're headed to the line.
And even in most of the plays I've seen from Hodan Prep in the second half, they would go for a shot deep in the shot clock, but I think it's time for them to go deep into it, but make sure you have good ball rotation, and then you finish strong down low.
Noah Kaja set to trigger. Dante Sensori Hercules in the backcourt. Under a minute remaining. Kaja, top side, tries to turn. Josiah Roberts gives it back to Kaja. Tries to get around Quinton Ethier, fading. Josiah Roberts has a lane. Foul's gonna go on CJ Roberts. He slid over to the left, was late on the assignment, and there was a lane open for Josiah Roberts, who read the play perfectly.
That was a hard jab step from Josiah Roberts, completely allowing his Roberts counterpart to just jump to the other side, clearing a lane in. So he was either going to get the 2 points, he missed the layup, so now he's headed to the line for the extra.
But here's the thing, you've got to make your free throws.
That you do. I've been in situations like this before where free throws are always crucial, but when the scoreboard's staring at you right in the face, it's a championship game, you got to make them. It's a stressful situation.
And remember, they're free. You can take all the time in the world to stay calm, cool, and collected to let them all go.
Off the iron and out to the left. By all the time in the world, you mean 10 seconds, right?
Yes. Don't tell that to Giannis.
Oh, Giannis is fully aware of all 10 seconds at the free throw line, I'm pretty sure. To make it a 1-point game. Back iron, no. Tipped. Sensori Hercules can't get it. Last touch by Ridley. Shot clock will reset to 14. Baseline out of bounds. Ridley, the bench trying to come onto the court.
Got a bit too excited.
Can't do that.
But, I mean, hey, Hodan does have the ball back, so miss free throws, ignore it, shake it out of your head. 36 seconds left in this game. You got to just go for the 2 to tie. I would focus on that first.
And if you get it off quick, you got the 2-for-1 opportunity.
Exactly.
You must score.
Dante Jones playing big minutes late, gets to the rack. And a clean strip from Caleb Roberts. Hand is part of the ball as we take another look.
Caleb just holding his own and just stripped it. Just stripped it as it went in.
Perfectly
All
timed. Perfectly timed. It was right off his fingertips, too, I want to say. Perfectly timed there from Roberts.
Inbound pass.
Oh, that may be, still Ridley.
Yeah, it looked close. Like if Ridley was going to make a play on it, it could end up Hodan's ball. And heads-up play, letting that just kind of dribble out after touching.
Got to be mindful as well, though, because it took 4 seconds off of the shot clock. So they got to be mindful of that to get over half.
Another timeout on the floor. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining somehow still on the scoreboard. I don't think that's accurate. I'm going to say 1 aside now. No changes made. Unless you just perpetually get timeouts at the end of the OSBA championship game. That isn't the case. Ridley up 61-59 in what's been an absolutely incredible OSBA men's final. Following an absolutely incredible women's final.
And that was a shocker, too. Crestwood Prep being down by Capital Courts for them to win their first title in 3 years. And on top of this, this game has been interesting right from the start of the second half, JJ. But in the fourth, Hodan Prep slashing down to the basket, getting close, getting to the line. And Ridley, they have fallen short off of rebounds lately. A lot of players trying to play hero ball, but now this is where it matters the most. Tempos definitely has to be displayed for both Ridley and Hodan Prep. Hodan with their biggest defensive possession here in this game.
They've got to be careful of letting anybody leak out to the backside. They're going to be so focused on keeping Ridley in that backcourt for the next 4 seconds, which is all Ridley has to get it to the timeline, that if anybody leaks out and there's an odd man rush, all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. And there's no 4-point there is an option for a 4-point play. But it's unlikely that Ridley will allow a 4-point play to happen, and actually the timeout allows Ridley to come into the front court.
Smart move, smart move. But the lead does go up to 4, Sid. Hodan has to not try to go for the 3 and the foul. They just have to go down to the basket and then apply full court pressure again.
Just as it was just announced, Hodan has 1 timeout remaining. Ridley College has 0.
Sensori Hercules gets a fingertip on it, stays with Griffin Collinson the whole way. Almost came up with the strip. 13 seconds on the shot clock now. 27.6 on the game clock. Corner, Baker, bottoms of 3, assist. Caleb Roberts, who shook Josiah Roberts and got free. Jackson Baker, class of 2027. Is any bucket this season going to be bigger than that one? 21.1 left on the clock. Time will tell.
The composure to come from Jackson Baker. All eyes in this entire gymnasium were on him. Did they need to make a 3? Absolutely not, but he knew he had the time and space to do so, and it's a beautiful shot.
It's been a while since we've called Jackson Baker's name, but man, did he deliver, coming up with his 9th point and a huge 3 from the corner.
64-59. Hodan Prep need to get a shot off quick down the stretch here, and once that shot's up, we'll know whether or not they've got a chance to come back into it. As we take another look.
This is a huge play with Roberts sending it out. No response as Dante Jones was too late on the assignment.
Caleb Roberts shaking Josiah Roberts, forcing Dante Jones to come up at the elbow and meet him. And there's about 100 kilometers between Dante Jones and Jackson Baker, giving Baker all the time to get his feet set, and then it was just shooting practice. Side out, Hodan Prep, Sensori Hercules to trigger. Kaja, catch and shoot, fouled at the three-point line, almost had that one go down. Quinton Ethier called for the foul. So minimal time off the clock, a look at three, but again, you gotta hit all three.
If that was made, that would have been enough to put them down by one but you know what? Wasn't meant to be, so we're gonna ignore it.
Telltale sign of the foul that was. Kaja sinks the first. Quinton Ethier, after the contact, immediately tying up his hands behind his own back to try and show the ref that his hands were there. Unfortunately, you can't fool these officials. Noah Kaja, have yourself a championship weekend. Ridley with no timeouts left, misses it, offensive rebound. Dante Jones, plenty of time left, hands it off to Kaja. Kaja working on the younger Baker. The step back three, that's off the mark. Out of bounds, last touch by Dante Sensori Hercules. Baseline out, we got a substitution. Demir Ostaprak in the game, Callum Smith out.
And matching him, Jaden Lee.
8.5 left. Hodan need a strip and a three-point bucket to send it to overtime. Jackson Baker fouls from behind by Dante Jones, and Baker's going to go to the line. And we're going to play the foul game for the remaining minutes of this OSBA Men's Championship game.
These two free throws could ice it here with 7 seconds. If he makes one of two, Hodan still has a chance, but it's a little window. But if he drains two here, Jackson Baker, oh, he's going to have the time of his life, and they're going to talk about it for the rest of his life.
This is no longer a one-possession game. Unfortunately for Hodan, there's not a lot of time remaining for them to do anything if this final free throw is made.
The miss, Jones with the rebound. Ahead, Josiah Roberts has to get a shot off. Kicks it to the corner, Lee, extra pass, and they're out of time. Nothing's given, everything's earned. Your 2025 OSBA Men's Champions, the Ridley Tigers from the Garden City, St. Catharines, Ontario. Top seed in the West, top in the league, going home champions. Everybody swarming Jackson Baker, understanding that that corner three, that made free throw. Obviously, it's a team game and a team win, but you can point to those two plays specifically and say this is what set Ridley apart in this game down the stretch. And what does it mean that a team like this can close out games on back-to-back nights, come away with the championship, as we see Hodan Prep just getting a little too fancy extra passes with it. But in terms of Ridley, what they've been able to do down the stretch in tough games and come away with victories, what does that tell you about this program, this coach, and what the future has in store for the Tigers?
It tell you there's a rise in the Garden City. The Garden City is blooming for the championship. And when you have a first-class coach like Vic Razzle leading the way, executing discipline and toughness down the stretch, that tells you something. And remember, yesterday against Crestwood, they displayed just that. They didn't rush any shots. They knew they get those passes off and shots off in the least amount of time instead of having trouble with the shot clock. Again, these are some of the plays that you'll talk about for the off season. Jackson Baker baking it all, taking it all. and just sealing the deal for the Ridley College Tigers. And they did a good job of boxing out and closing out. Callum Smith helping out along the way, but man alive, there were a lot of players you could say they could be MVP. But when it comes down to the stretch, you have to come down to who's clutch, who's more clutch, Sid.
No one, I think, down the stretch plays better team basketball than Ridley College. I know, JJ, you kind of have been saying this.
Not kind of.
You have been saying this for the majority of the season, that Ridley College was going to end up in the finals. And I will, you know what, I'll own it. I wasn't sharing the same sentiment at the beginning of the season, not because I didn't think that they were a fantastic roster, but you look at teams like Royal Crown, who has been to the finals and are kind of on a winning streak. You look at teams like Crestwood, who they have a lineage. But Ridley College this year, they are the undisputed champions. They play solid team basketball. There's no wavering support coming from off the bench, the fans, the structure that they have. Also with Vic Razzo, he's going to need to create a bit extra room on the trophy case because he is having the winningest year, I think, in terms of a coach that they can kind of have this year.
We are going to get to the MVP presentation. First, all the players from both sides are going to be given their medals. We'll step aside for that presentation and leave you in the hands of our PA announcer as you see Ridley College Tigers celebrating their victory underneath the basket. What an image. What a season for the team from the Garden City, top of the West Division. Final score 65-61. It came down to the wire. We'll step aside for a quick break as we do the medals, and we'll be back at the announcement of the finals MVP. Don't go anywhere. Stay locked on OSBA TV on YouTube.
Once again, let's give a very, very big hand for Hodan.
There they are, the Ridley College Tigers, your 2025 OSBA men's champions. All smiles, showing off the bling, posing for the photographs.
It's one of those seasons where, for them especially, I know Collinson, we're kind of going to talk about him first, the graduating senior on the team, came in, heavy hitter last game. Now in this game, he was more of a bit player, but nonetheless, he played solid defense when necessary. This is definitely the note you want to go out on.
We're going to get to the finals MVP here. And if you were with us from the top of the broadcast, I'm sure you're fully aware who that might be. Caleb Roberts wins the finals MVP after being snubbed from the All-Canadian Games. Didn't get the MVP votes for the OSBA regular season, but comes in here this weekend at the Toronto Pan Am Center and 2 times in 2 nights leads his team to a gut victory. Absolutely astonishing from Caleb Roberts, coming off a summer where he won gold with Team Ontario. And Ontario basketball is in good hands if this is the type of player that it's producing.
Unselfishness is the key word for Ridley College, and it was led by Caleb Roberts, who won it all, gave it his all throughout the entire weekend. Hats off to them. Now if you have to wonder how much space can they make over on their mantle in their collection. Well deserved.
Still waiting for the handoff of the trophy. Here it is. Applauding the audience and those who traveled from far away to come watch this Ridley Tigers men's team dominate down the stretch on the weekend and go home the victors.
This is always my favorite moment in sports, the lift of the trophy. If anything, I would adopt it more so from like FIFA or hockey, where you kind of rumble it up a little bit and then you slow. Oh, that's my favorite part.
It's Griffin Collinson and Quinton Ethier bringing it to the huddle. And there it is, your 2025 champions of the East of the OSBA men's Ridley College. We'll leave you with that image for everyone here. I want to thank our wonderful producer, Nick Kirstens, everybody at Sport Canada TV, and everybody who's been part of this broadcast. For Sydney Holmes and Aaron Sanders, I'm JJ Evison saying enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Happy daylight savings. We'll see you next season.